area to identify specifically which buyers are going to be the right buyers for you to sell properties to. That way you can make strong offers in today's market, which are going to get accepted, but then also be able to sell to an end buyer. So common misconception is that you need to use formulas when it comes to making offers, that you need to use the same formula for all offers, and that you need to make lowball offers. Those are giant misconceptions that I'm going to cover today to show you exactly how you can kind of, not fall into these traps. All right, let's see here. All right, so we just covered those. So when it comes to making offers, like I said, this is common practice. A lot of people teach you to formulate your offer using a percentage. And a lot of reason for that is because so many new investors are looking for a simple thing that they can apply to everything to make it easier on them. So I understand why it's taught, but it's common practice because so many people feel the concept is simple. So if you are making your offers based on a formula, you know that you can plug that same formula in and that you can use it time and time again. But unfortunately, the problem with that is it's just not accurate, not something that you can use. All right, let's skip ahead. So when it comes to making lowball offers, again, you don't have to make lowball offers. And the reason why is because we're going to show you how to find buyers that are willing to pay more than just your buyers that are looking to buy properties at 50, 60, 70 cents on the dollar. So if you're making lowball offers, it's a very good chance that your offers are getting rejected. Okay. All right. So the next thing here is, okay, so one of the things that we see so much is a formula being used called Mayo. And what Mayo stands for is maximum allowable offer. And typically what the standard Mayo is, or maximum allowable offer, is you want to make your offers at 70% of what that property would sell for when it's all fixed up, minus any repairs that are needed. So basically that would give you a 30% spread. Okay, so a lot of times what people say is that, Mayo is going to give you a formula that you can use to make offers on properties. And if you're at that offer, you can then resell it for a profit. So that's where kind of that idea and mindset comes from. So why is Mayo taught to investors? Again, we've already kind of covered this a little bit, but basically it's simple. All right. That's the reason why so many investors teach Mayo, is because the concept is very, very simple, something that they can understand. So let's do an example of what Mayo would be. So Mayo would stand for, maximum allowable offer at 70 cents on the dollar minus any repairs. So let's say you have a property that when fixed up would sell for $100,000. Okay. And the property needs about $10,000 in repairs to get to that point. All right. So if that's the case, what we need to consider is that maximum allowable offer would be 70% of 100,000, or of the ARV, or what it would sell for, minus the 10,000 in repairs. So 70,000 minus 10,000 repairs puts us at 60,000. So if you were to find a property that would sell for 100,000, your offer would need to be 70% of that. So 70,000 minus the 10,000 in repairs. So you have $60,000 offer. So when making that offer, what you need to consider is that in many cases, that's going to be way too low for where a seller would need to be at. For them to have that big of a spread may not necessarily make a lot of sense. Now, I get it for many, rehabbers, they want to make $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 profit on their deals. Whereas there's a lot of other people that don't necessarily need to make that full spread. And those are the types of buyers that we're going to talk a little bit about. So if you guys are using the Mayo formula in your business, go ahead and drop a comment below. Let me know if you're using the Mayo formula in your business right now. All right. Like I said, again, we want to make sure that, you have other avenues to formulate your offer, not just basing it on Mayo. So why is Mayo killing your business? All right. And if you guys are following along, drop Mayo killing my business if you're having problems getting offers accepted. Okay. So the big reason why Mayo is hurting wholesalers is because you can't use the same formula on a $50,000 property or $100,000 property as you do on a $300,000 property. Okay, so it's just too generic to really make sense, because what happens is you're either making a super low ball offer, or you're making an offer that is too high and you're leaving money on the table. So what you have to kind of consider is that if you're using these formulas, it can't be a one size fits all thing. If you're dealing with areas where, it's all strictly people just rehabbing or reselling, then, your offer may need to be a little bit less than Mayo. Okay, there may be investors that are looking to buy it at 65 cents on the dollar, or 60 cents on the dollar. So your offer would need to be less than that. So you wouldn't be able to find a buyer if your offer is too high or using Mayo in an area like that. You may be in a rental area to where you're basically just dealing with people that are looking for rental properties. They're paying a lot more than 60 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar. Maybe they're paying a lot more. So if you get it at 70 cents and then resell it for just a little bit more, you might be leaving a lot of money on the table. So it's really difficult because, again, there's a good chance you're making really low ball offers if you're using a percentage like Mayo. All right. And again, every buyer is going to be different. You really can't use the same formula for everything. So drop a comment below. Let me know if you guys are using Mayo, and if you guys are struggling to get your offers accepted, or if you're struggling to get people to buy your properties, let me know in the comments. I want to be able to make sure that we can help you guys out. All right. So let's see here. Okay. Yep. We covered all that stuff. So what should we be doing instead of using the Mayo formula or maximum allowable offer formula? So drop a comment below if you guys know what you think we should use instead of Mayo. So if we don't use a standard percentage, what should we be doing when it comes to formulating our offer? Okay. So the biggest thing that you need to keep in mind is that in this business, in wholesaling, everything is all about data. All right. Data is the single most important thing that we need to consider in our wholesaling business. So what are properties being sold for? What are buyers actually paying for properties? What are they doing with the properties? The more we can understand about our buyers and what they're willing to do, the stronger we can be as wholesalers. So when it comes to formulating our offers, the same thing we need to look at is data. So drop a comment below. Let me know data if you guys understand that data is the most important thing. Okay. So we need to formulate our offer based on what the buyers in our market are paying. And the way that we do that is by getting the data on our buyers. So most people traditionally, if they're new to real estate, they're going to learn an old strategy to where they go out, they pick a market they want to work in, they start trying to find motivated sellers, go out, drive for some dollars, hang some bandit signs, find some people that are willing to sell their home, make an offer on the property, try to get it under contract, and then start finding a buyer for those properties. Well, what happens is when new investors take that approach, they don't really understand the market that they're in. They're just trying to find any kind of property they can, putting anything under contract. And what happens is they're not able to find a buyer for that property. So they either say, oh, I need better buyers, or, whatever the case may be. But in reality, the issue is you need to understand your buyers first before you put any properties under contract. So what I focus on with my students, especially as new investors, you need to identify your market first by identifying who the buyers are. And what we look for is two things, really. We want to find buyers that are buying consistently. So buying 2 properties a month, 5 properties a month, 10 properties a month. From there, of those buyers, which are the buyers that are actually paying the most for properties? And the reason why that's important is because, again, if we have buyers that are paying the most, we can make stronger offers when it comes to, talking to sellers. All right. So from there, once we identify who those buyers are, we can look back at the last 15, 25, 30 properties they bought. We can see specifically where they're buying, what neighborhoods are they buying in, what zip codes, what bedroom, what styles of properties, single family, multifamily, are they buying 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom properties? Like, what are they actually looking for? And then from there, that's going to give us a much better idea of what the demand is. And then we can see exactly what they paid for those properties. And that's how we can understand what kind of an offer to make to a sellers, because we can see what those buyers actually paid. And if we're under that, then we know that we're going to have a safe offer there. Okay. So that's key, is make our offers based on what our buyers in the market are paying. So identify the best buyers in our area. specifically who's buying consistently and paying the most. From there, look back at what they're buying, use that as our formula for identifying the types of properties that our market demand is. Go out and find those properties. When we find one, our offer is going to be based on what those buyers actually paid for those previous type properties. So when we're making our offers, we need to be underneath that. Okay, so let me know if that makes sense to you guys. Making offers based on what the buyers are actually paying versus some random percentage that some guru came up with 10, 15, 25 years ago because they thought it was easy for you. Now, again, you can do deals using Mayo. You're either going to, though, in some cases, lose out on a lot of deals that you could normally get if you took this approach, or you're going to end up leaving a lot of money on the table. So again, I'm not saying that Mayo can't be used. I'm just saying, though, for most people, it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. By understanding the business and understanding the data, you're going to be a much stronger wholesaler. And that's really going to be the key. All right. So drop a comment below. Let me know if you guys think data is a much better way versus the Mayo formula. Okay. All right. Next one. Let's see here. All right. So one thing to keep in mind is that this strategy for Mayo isn't going to work for all buyers, okay? And even when it comes to looking back at what our buyers in the market are paying for properties, we can't use that offer for all buyers. So for example, you're going to have buyers that are buying at all different price points, okay? You're going to have buyers that are buying at 20 cents on the dollar, 30 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar, 99% of what the ARV is. Okay, so you're gonna have buyers everywhere. So even if you were to make offers at Mayo, or whatever your maximum allowable offer is, 65 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar, that's not gonna work for every buyer. Just like when we're looking at the buyers in our market and what they're paying, if we want to be underneath that, know that that's not going to be the best fit for every buyer, because we want to identify the right buyers that we want to work with. So if we're making our offers a little bit stronger because we know that we can do that with our buyer because they're willing to pay more, that means we can't sell to those other lower buyers, but that's okay because we're not trying to sell to every buyer. All right. So someone that has to buy and renovate the property and then resell it like a rehabber, they need to be significantly less than where it would be if we were trying to, sell to someone that was going to live in the property, or someone that was going to lightly renovate it and get a renter in the area. Okay, so that's the type of stuff that we need to kind of consider. Is that, look, this isn't going to be the right fit for every single person because every buyer is going to be different. We're just looking for the right buyer, and what we like to do is identify our buyers up front, know who we want to sell to, because then that way we can reach out directly to them versus trying to build out some kind of an email list where we're sending out properties and hoping that we're going to find the right person. We're going to try to make sure that we identify the buyers in our area and who's actually buying consistently and who this is going to be a good fit for. Okay. So how do you make offers that actually get accepted? Okay. So I know we've talked a lot about kind of what not to do and what we do, but how do you make offers that actually get accepted? Okay, so for this, the thing that you need to consider is that everything we do is going to go back to doing our buyer homework. All right, so make sure you drop a comment below if you guys are following along. Type in buyer homework to let me know that you guys understand that when it comes to making offers that get us accepted to homeowners, if we're trying to make offers at 50 cents on the dollar, 40 cents on the dollar, or even less or more, what we have to kind of consider is that in many cases, that's not going to be a good enough offer for all of the different buyers. All the different motivated sellers that we talk to. So one of the things that we need to kind of consider is that, unfortunately, our offer may get rejected if we're trying to use really low offers. But one of the things that we can kind of consider is that if we're formulating our offers based on our best buyers and we can pay a little bit more, a lot of times we're going to be able to be in a situation where more offers will get accepted because we're going to be able to make a stronger offer to our sellers. So the key is, again, we have to do our buyer homework. Our offers have everything to do with the buyers in our area and what they're willing to pay. So again, not a formula. Find the buyers who pay the most and are buying consistently. All right. So I made another video on this recently where I showed you guys how to find the right buyers in your area that you want to sell to. We can do this using PropStream. You can use this a ton of different ways to be able to find and identify those buyers. Once we've done that from there, then we can look at, who are our duplicate buyers, and then who's paying closest to what the fair market value is of the property. And all that information can come directly from PropStream. So again, a lot of these buyers are going to be people that are landlords or hedge fund buyers, or maybe people that are buying from like auctions. A lot of times those are going to be the types of buyers that we're going to want to sell to consistently, because they're paying more because they need to buy the volume. So if they need to buy a lot of properties, a lot of times they're willing to make stronger offers. So those are the buyers that we want to focus on, because those are going to be the types of buyers that we can sell to at a premium. So if we can sell to a buyer at 80 or 90 cents on the dollar versus someone at 70 cents on the dollar, that's going to allow us to do two things. One, if we can buy it at a deep enough discount, that's going to give us a bigger spread, number one. Number two, if we can't buy it at a deep enough discount, it's still going to allow us to step up and make a stronger offer than our competition, because we're able to know that we've got a buyer in the long run that is going to pay more for those types of properties. Okay. And again, the way that we do that is, let's look back the last 25, 30 properties they bought, see specifically what they bought and what they paid for those properties. And we use that as a really good foundation to make sure that we know we're getting offers out there that we're going to be able to sell, but also strong offers that we know are going to be accepted. So let me know if that makes sense to you guys. You guys understand what I'm talking about here? So making offers that get accepted, the way that we're able to do that is because we're selling to better buyers. And that is going to be the key. So type in better buyers if you guys are following along. Now, I know we've talked a lot about buyers in this. Even though, this is about formulating your offer and stuff like that. Again, you can't formulate an offer unless we understand what our buyers are paying. So you have to know your buyers first to be able to really make sure that we're making good offers on properties. All right, let's go to the next one here, the next slide. All right. So how do we make offers that are going to have buyers fighting over your deals? All right. So this is going to be key. So if you guys want buyers fighting over your deals, drop a comment below. Let me know that you guys are following along and that you want me to share with you how to get buyers fighting over your deals. Okay. So one of the things that I have never done in this business is, worried about having a large buyers list. I never worried about building a list of other wholesalers or tire kickers or people that wanted to be added to a buyers list. I only focus just on the buyers in my market that are actively buying properties. Okay. So a lot of times I sell to the same 5, 10, 15 buyers just over and over and over again. And the reason I do that is because these are the best buyers in my market that are buying consistently. And to do that, they're paying the most. They're the strongest buyers in my area. And that's really the key. That's what allows me to make more money per deal if I'm selling to the right buyers. Okay. So that's something that you need to kind of consider, is that it's really all about identifying who those buyers are that are paying the most. And if we do that, when we have really good deals, we're going to be able to make those buyers really happy, because we can sell to them even deeper of a discount than what they normally would buy. So if we have, a hedge fund that's buying 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage properties in our area, we know that they're buying consistently at 90% of the ARV. If we can come in and say, I got a property at, 85 or 80 cents of the dollar, to build that relationship, they're going to make more money to be able to buy that property at a deeper discount. Or, we can make sure that we're not leaving money on the table. So when it comes to pricing properties for sale, once we have something under contract, a lot of people just guess at what to price it at. Whereas if we know our buyers and what our buyers are willing to pay, we can price it right to where it's either a home run deal for them, or we know it still fits within their budget, but it's a home run deal for us. So when it comes to getting our buyers to fight over properties, is we need to know what those buyers are paying first and use that as our formula and our criteria to make sure that we're getting offers accepted in the first place, and then that we can sell them at a discount. So 9 times out of 10, when an investor comes to me that says, hey, I need better buyers, that's not ever the case, really. Usually what it is just that they have the property under contract for way too high of an amount. And there's just no buyers that are interested in the property, or it's not in an area that the buyers want, or it's not the type of property that your market wants. And that's the key to all this stuff, is that it all works together. We have to identify our buyers first. We have to know what those buyers are looking for, use that as our criteria to go and find the right kinds of properties, target our motivations so that way we're dealing with people that really need to sell. From there, once we make our offer, base that on being under what we can sell it to our buyers for. And all of that stuff has to work together to put deals together in today's market. And that's really the key, is that there's just so much competition out there that you need this data and this understanding, and all of it needs to work together. If you're going out and trying to find the property first and then hoping you find a buyer for the property, a lot of times you're really going to struggle as a new investor. So it's key to make sure that we identify our buyers up front, know that it is a really good deal for our buyers based on what they're paying. And then we can determine our market demand and find those properties that are a fit for what those buyers want. And that really is going to be the key. So for those of you guys that followed along, I want to kind of find out and get a better understanding from you if this helped out. Okay, I'm trying to make a lot more content. I'm doing these Facebook Lives on a weekly basis for you. If you have other topics or things that you want me to help you about, you can drop a comment on that as well. But I want to make sure that this really helped you out, because again, if you're using Mayo and you're struggling to get your offers accepted, or if you're getting offers accepted but you can't sell those properties, that's the kind of stuff that we can fix by identifying our buyers up front and pinpointing specifically what they're willing to pay. So let's give you a couple real world examples before we wrap up the call. So for example, if you're dealing with a property, let's say $100,000 property, okay? If we did the tried and true Mayo formula, our offer on a property that is priced at $100,000 that needs $10,000 in work, that would mean that we would make a $60,000 offer. Okay, so that would mean that basically we have to find a seller that owns a property that just needs light work on it. Okay, so very, very light work. They're willing to give up 40% of what they think the property is worth to be able to sell to us. Okay, the likelihood of that isn't that great. You know, I buy properties at that discount all the time. I'm not saying to make higher offers. I'm just saying that in a circumstance where someone necessarily can't make those numbers work, if we can bump the numbers up a little bit, there's a better chance that we can make a deal. So let's say, for example, that's the tried and true method. Okay, you're getting a lot of your offers rejected that way because you're using the Mayo formula. So if we were to base it on our buyers and what our buyers are willing to pay, let's say, for example, at $100,000 price point, we're going to be in an area where there's a really strong rental demand, I would imagine, because a lot of times they can buy properties at a discount and then they can have good cash flow. Okay, so let's say, for example, someone like that is willing to buy those properties at 90 cents on the dollar or 95 cents on the dollar, because they're not looking at getting a good deal, they're looking at cash flow. Okay, so if that's the case, then we have a buyer that's willing to pay 95,000, or let's say 95% of the ARV, so they would be willing to pay at 85 cents on the dollar, or 85,000 is what they would pay. So we're looking at basically an offer of 60,000 versus someone that's willing to pay 85,000. It's a big difference there. Obviously for us, we would still need to be underneath that number because we would want to make a profit on that. But let's say, for example, if our offer would be at 70 cents on the dollar and try to sell to someone at 75 cents on the dollar, that would mean then that, basically we would need to make a really low offer on that property. Whereas if we could sell at 95 cents on the dollar minus our 10,000 in repairs, that would mean that we can make a much stronger offer and still make the same amount on that deal to be able to make that work. So that's the reason why it's so important to understand your buyer data. That's the difference in making an offer, at 40% below market value, or making an offer at 10 or 15% market value. And that's the thing that you need to understand to be able to beat out your competition. Now, again, like I said, if you don't have buyers in your market that are paying that, you need to kind of keep that in mind and consider that. But that's why we're basing all this on facts, not just going out and putting properties under contract at a higher amount and then hoping we can find buyers. It's all about identifying those buyers up front. So hope that helps for you guys that are having problems getting offers accepted. So that's a good way to make stronger offers, is by identifying our buyers that are willing to pay more. And then from there, making sure that we're selling our properties to our buyers at a good price. So that way they're going to be fighting over us to be able to get deals. So if you guys like this information and you want to find out more, drop a comment below. Just say something like help. or need help, reach out to me, something like that, just drop a comment below and I'll reach out to you and talk about some ways that I can help you guys out. I do have training resources and courses available that I can send out to you guys. I also work with students one-on-one. So if you guys want some help, drop a comment below and we'll talk about some ways that we can work together. And I'm really looking forward to kind of helping you guys out. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Thanks very much. And I'll catch you guys next week.